Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to listen up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Thank you, KK. Ryan, I know that if we were in Kansas City, if for some reason basketball was played outside, which it's never has been, I don't think, it never will be, that's professional or college. But Ryan, let me tell you, I didn't forget about our UConn Huskies family. Please like the video, it goes a long way. Ryan, a big win today. I'm not forgetting anything about that. But let me ask you something, Ryan. Minus 20, minus 30 degrees, that really tests if you're a true fan of any sport. So let me very quickly, Ryan, shout out to my beautiful people in Kansas City tonight, out there embracing that cold.
Yeah, definitely a cold one in Kansas City tonight, and I'm sure a cold one in Connecticut in the stores area too. But yeah, UConn with another win tonight, of course, 92-49. Now undefeated, they continue their undefeated record in the Big East, 10-game winning streak. Phil, you have the recap. Take it away.
All right, this was a 66th meeting all time between these two teams, Ryan. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard since it's so late. We're coming on around 10:30 on this beautiful Saturday night, a little bit cold out, like I mentioned, Ryan. I'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard after this beautiful game recap. Listen up with Phil and Rye. UConn coming in, Ryan, the keys to this game, UConn, they needed to control the pace of the game and take out Archer and Drake. Don't include them in the game, whatever you do. Limit them in the paint, limit them overall in the game. We also knew that UConn needed to rebound and get in those passing lanes and control the boards. Ryan, you're going to like this game recap, I think, a lot. Great defense today from UConn. I wanted to mention that. It was a great crowd, and I heard a lot more parking. For some reason, it's so random, but a lot more parking spaces were available today at this arena. So I was like, well, I had to ask Ryan, have you ever been anywhere and you hate that you can't find a parking spot? So anyway, first quarter opens. Your favorite player, Ryan, I'll put you on the spot. Nika Mule opens the game with a big three. Drake started the scoring for St. John's, made it 3-2 UConn. Mule hit another three. She made it 6-4 UConn. St. John's turns it over. Their average turnover, I believe, rate was 13 times per game. But we have to remember the pace that they play. I think they kind of moved the ball up pretty slow in most games. Paige hit her 34th three of the season and made it 9-4 UConn. It was a nice job by Shade today, moving the ball up the court quickly. Ryan, she really sees the floor so well when she has that ball in her hands. A quick transitions today. Quick transitions early by UConn. Very good job. St. John's giving a lot of attention to Edwards down low, Ryan. So that was giving the UConn guards a lot of good looks in the first quarter. Shade hit a three. At one point, UConn went on an 11-0 run, made it 14-4 UConn. Shade and Paige, they had good defense on back-to-back plays, turning them turnovers into points. Tara Day for St. John's was struggling early, picking up her second foul in the first quarter. It was raining threes, in the first quarter for UConn, and that's what I liked a lot, Ryan. Start out hot. Coaches, they had the coaches, the coach's mic. Gino was mic'd up, or well, it wasn't mic'd up, but there was a mic near the media, I guess, or near the radio table or television table. You could hear a lot what he was saying. So that was very entertaining. I knew you would like that. Archer had the first free throws of the game for St. John's on a Paige Becker's foul that she admitted was her fault. Becker's admitted that. 12-2 St. John. It was a 12-2 St. John's run. And at the end of the first quarter, 24-18 UConn. So Ryan, St. John's showed some life moving into the second quarter, but it changed very quickly. UConn was cashing in on turnovers. KK had her first bucket in the second quarter, which made it 33-18 UConn. Big 13-2 UConn run to start the second quarter. Caden Samuels checked in for the first time in the second. It was a foul on Samuels instantly as she came into the game. She was trying to go for a loose ball. She plays so aggressive sometimes, Ryan, and sometimes she gets some foul calls on her. But hey, I'm not going to complain. As long as it's a win, I'm not saying it's a good thing she's fouling. But man, I love Cadence Samuels, the effort she plays with, the heart, the intensity. Very good job from her. Halftime, 44-25, UConn. St. John's was playing a pretty effective ball game when they didn't turn the ball over. So that's about with any team or any sport, right, Ryan? You can't turn the ball over. Third quarter came quickly. Mayo came into the game for Owen for St. John's. Turned the ball over right out of the gates in the second half. Donald hit a nice three and pushed the pace in the third for St. John's, which was good. 53-30 UConn. Tara Day for St. John's picked up her fourth foul in the third. Nika was in doubles once again. At one point, Beckers could be heard yelling in excitement. I believe all the way down here from in Maryland, Ryan. That's how loud that celebration was. So I knew you would kind of like that picture, right, Ryan? 61-32 UConn. Beckers, Shea, Nika. Those three today, absolute stars today for UConn. The assist numbers for UConn have increased. That was a good point they made. And that's a big reason for this win streak. Everyone is getting involved. Ice Brady had 17 points today. Ice Brady went off. Congratulations to Ice Brady. She's living up to the hype that the media is giving her. That's good news. Edwards to Brady on back-to-back assists. The assists today, Ryan, were just amazing, incredible. UConn never plays easy. I wanted to mention that to you. They never tone it down in blowout wins. That's what I realized. Hustle prepares your mindset for March, right, Ryan? End of the third quarter, 74-39 UConn. Not a lot of notes for the fourth. KK had a nice stop and dime spinning layup for her second field goal of the day. Amari DeBerry entered the game in the fourth. Samuels was 2 for 2 today after an 0 for 9 game. So if anyone was struggling to comprehend what happened to Samuels in that last game, don't worry. I mean, she's picking it back up, right, Ryan? And another thing, Amari has shown some nice moves to the basket, Ryan, in the past week when we have seen her in game action. So I wanted to mention that to you. A final score, 92-49, like you mentioned, final UConn. 5 Huskies in double figures today. And Aaliyah Edwards was in on the post-game interview. She just mentioned about playing very united right now, each and every game. Their identity starts on the defensive end. They had a nice time. She mentioned had a nice time in New York, but it is good to go back home. Caroline Ducharme focusing on herself. They asked her about Caroline Ducharme because obviously we're all very concerned about her. Caroline Ducharme is focusing on herself. She said taking care of her body, but she is with the team every step of the way, Ryan. And our prayers go out to Caroline Ducharme. Hopefully she's doing well. And that's that. I mean, who would have guessed, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of us could have guessed the outcome of this one. I think it's just it's kind of weird because I think going into the season, we kind of expected UConn to maybe struggle with a couple of these Big East teams, but it's pretty amazing how they've just blown through every single Big East team that they've played so far. It really hasn't been close for any of these Big East teams. It seemed like they kind of started out a little slow. St. John's picked up a little momentum there, like you said it at the end of that first quarter, went on a little run. But again, UConn, despite they might start out a little slow in the first quarter, but second quarter and beyond in the second half, they just blow the game wide open. Nika Mule today, I think she played great on defense. Unique Drake, 4 points on 2 or 3 shooting when she's averaging 20 points on the season. So, I'm really happy to really see Nika playing like she was last season in her junior year, really stepping it up on offense and defense. Paige Beckers, I was really expecting her to pick it up a little bit, and she definitely did. 22 points from her in today's game after she kind of struggled last game to find her shot. Another double-double from Aaliyah Edwards today. And it finally the breakout game for Ice Brady. I'm so happy she finally had her breakout game. Been waiting on that. She's just been getting better and better. And finally, she exploded today, which is really nice to see. So hopefully she can keep that going and keep on scoring in double digits. And it's nice to see that chemistry start developing between her and Aaliyah Edwards. So again, it just seems like another great team win today from UConn. And like I keep saying, there's really not much they're doing wrong. Just controlling the pace of the game. Like you said, they never seem to let their foot off the gas at any point during the game. So it's really nice to see just the way UConn's playing right now.
Yeah, 87.5% free throw percentage, 87.5. UConn really also cashing in on free throws. I want to point that out because hopefully everybody, please, everybody, listen to me, Ryan. I'm sure that you agree. That's important in March because guess what? I'm going to make a bold prediction. These games won't be blowouts in March. So if you're going to win, Ryan, our predictions on last check-ins might only be 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit of a different story when it comes to March Madness. And I think, with UConn losing a couple tough games earlier in the season, and they still have two really tough games coming up, as we all know who those two opponents are, Notre Dame and South Carolina. So I think they'll be fine in terms of March Madness when it comes to close games. Of course, they do have a good bit of experience, I guess, on their
Yeah.
roster with Nika and Paige and Aaliyah. So yeah, it should be interesting when we get down to the closer games. But I'm loving the blowout games right now.
Oh, yeah. Ryan's loving it. That means everybody's loving it if Ryan's loving it, right? Let's go over to Jason D'Amico. St. John's is a well coached team. Can't sleep on them, but I don't think they have enough firepower to overcome this Husky roster now that our freshmen are playing at such a high level. Side note, will Paige's shooting slump continue? Post game edit to the above question. Nope. Laugh out loud. Peace. Well, Ryan Paige cashed in today, 22 points, led all scorers.
Yeah, and I really thought she would. I kind of predicted that one that, great players don't have two bad back-to-back nights, and Paige Beckers definitely did it. So definitely did not. So but yeah, it's for Paige Beckers to score 22 after she struggled just proves how great of a player she is. And again, it just seems like none of these Big East teams really have enough firepower, I think, to kind of deal with the defensive pressure and intensity that UConn has, and especially when UConn can continue to create these turnovers, get out in transition and score that way. It just seems to overwhelm all the Big East teams that they've played so far.
Uncle Phil and cousin Rye. Paige was 8 for 9 for 22 versus St. John. So this is 1 hour ago. So a recent comment. We love people checking in after the game, even though the recap is not even out yet. So thank you a lot at UConn Nation 12. Paige was 8 for 9 for 22 versus St. John's. Caitlin put up 9 shots in the first quarter versus Indiana. I guarantee both Paige and Caitlin shot the ball and handled the ball equally. Paige would have better stats, especially a field goal percentage and in field goal percentage of turnovers. Yeah, we talk about it, Ryan. I mean, it comes down to crunch time. I mean, we can't say it enough, even though people get tired of hearing about it in March.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of an interesting conversation and topic when you kind of try to compare Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark, obviously two as some of the best players,
Yeah.
women's players in the game. But I think it's a little bit of a different scenario when you're talking about Caitlin Clark because she's just kind of the overall leader of the Iowa Hawkeyes. And I don't think UConn really has one leader in terms of their offensive capacity. As we've seen through this winning streak, it really comes in bunches from everybody. And I think just for Iowa, Caitlin Clark, they kind of rely on her so much to take 15 to 20 shots a game because there's not really a lot of other players that Iowa has to really score the ball of course nobody can do it like Caitlin Clark can, but I don't think in UConn's case, Paige Beckers doesn't have to put up near as many shots per game. I think it's just kind of different scenarios for both players.
All right, we appreciate everyone commenting. Please keep it up. Doing a great job. Ryan and I go through all comments. And I wanted to shout out and we actually want to shout out to more comments from previous videos that I had saved on my phone here. Mike CT5, great job. Ryan and Phil, your shows have become a must watch for me. Let's go Huskies. I knew you would like that one a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I always appreciate the support for sure.
All right, out of town scoreboard. It's looking like this, Ryan. Obviously, UConn won. West Virginia over UCF. Just some scores to keep in mind here. Gonzaga over San Diego. And then you had, of course, wanted to point this one out, Iowa just tonight, I believe it was. Iowa over Indiana, Ryan, 84-57. And it was Caitlin Clark scoring 30. So I will see you possibly. We don't have a set schedule anymore, which is tough, but Ryan, we'll make it work, right? Like always. I'll see you possibly Monday or Tuesday for that last check-in. Another Big East opponent coming up. Let's go outside, Ryan, and make snowballs. Embrace the cold, huh? Phil and Rye, listen up.